This is a brief tour of how DuoLingo works. The homepage of DuoLingo shows the course that is currently in progress. Before we go there, let's see how a new course is selected. When selecting a new course, the first thing a user does is select their L1. This is important because L2 learning is done from the L1 with a lot of translation involved. We're going to choose English, but as you can see, there are many options available. Then, depending on the L1, certain L2 courses may or may not be available. Once the course is selected, the user has the option to start at the very beginning or take a placement test in order to place at a higher level. Now let's see what types of questions and tasks we can expect to see when learning a language on DuoLingo. So there are these topics, and in each topic, so each topic is focused on either a theme, so for example, food or animals, or a vocabulary point, such as adjectives or plurals, or as we will see here, questions. Each topic then has several lessons within it, so generally it ranges from 3 to 8 or 9 lessons. Here at the bottom of the topic, there is going to be a certain amount of instruction. Sometimes it's minimal depending on the topic. But here, it's quite a thorough explanation of how questions work in French, along with a bunch of examples. Let's go into lesson 1. This is quite a typical question. It's a request for the user to translate the text. The text appears and is also read. It's read out loud, but it's actually read. It's like a machine recording of it. Before actually producing the translation in the L1, the learner can hover over any of the words to see the English version or their L1 version. Then, whether the question is, whether the answer is right or wrong, if it's wrong, there is a correct answer that is provided. If it's right, if it just states that it's right, and there's also the option to discuss the sentence. Now, this forum, there's a forum, dedicated forum linked to every question. It's generally a discussion in L1. Often it turns to a metalinguistic discussion on why one term is appropriate while another one isn't, what are some optional synonyms, and so on and so forth. This can be very valuable for learners when they learn explicitly and aim to understand logically why something works and why something doesn't work in their target language. And most of the questions are something like that. It's some version of translation. Okay? Sometimes it's a translation of just one word. Sometimes it's translation from the L1 to the L2. Sometimes a sentence is just read, okay, and the learner hears it and should just write it down. Now, another section of the site is the immersion section, which is actually anything but. It's rather a translation section, where most of the articles, and these are uploaded by users, and anyone can upload their own document. Most of these are Wikipedia pages that are then translated collaboratively by the users. Okay? So every sentence, when you hover over, just like in the actual learning tasks, each word, there's a translation of it into the L1, and if you click on a sentence, here you get the most recent translation that was offered by one of the users. Now, it can be checked or X'd or actually edited. So I can edit this translation, and my version is now going to be the one that is here and that everyone will see until somebody else re-edits it. Okay. Now the discussion section is pretty much just forums, and depending on what language you want to see the forums, and you can just select here. So if I'm learning English, from my L1 is Spanish, I'm going to select that, and I'm going to see only the Spanish language forums. And that's pretty much how the program works from the user point of view. Stay tuned for another screencast on how an educator can experience this and use it for classes.